So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, you know, the reason is, it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick. And plus, I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Burumnaka, my name is Real, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7. Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Authorities maintain heavy rain warning as TC Pam moves away from Fiji. Nandi businesses remain on alert. And Red Cross still on standby in case of any emergency. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. Severe tropical Cyclone Pam, which formed into a Category 5 superstorm last night, is safely away from Fiji. However, the Nandi Weather Office, which has been tracking Tropical Cyclone Pam for the last 5 days, maintains a heavy rain warning for the Fiji group. Christopher Chand reports.
Even though the eye of severe Tropical Cyclone Pam is far away to the far northwest of Fiji, it is these rain bands that is affecting us right now. And currently
Fiji has escaped the superstorm, but the worry that's remained all along is the forecast for heavy rain, which could still lead to floods.
Even though that Tropical Cyclone Pam is far distance away, and it's the threat right now is for Vanuatu, and for eventually it will go on into for New Caledonia's area of responsibility. But for general public is to know that there's still a strong warning that is in force for our mariners, and also a heavy rain warning that is also in force for the Fiji group.
Over the last 5 days, the storm intensified and Fiji was on high alert. And while the news of TC Pam passing comes as a relief, the advice is to remain prepared.
There is still a heavy rain warning that is in force for the group, and also a strong warning for all our mariners out there, for maritime regions out there, for Fiji. So with this being stated, general precautionary measures for the public is to take every precautionary measure available.
The Nandi Weather Office has been closely monitoring TC Pam's movement since it was initially picked up last week, developing from a tropical disturbance to a monster storm.
Yes, you can say that it's probably one of the most powerful cyclones. When Tropical Cyclone Evan came around in 2012, it was just a Category 4. Very briefly, for majority of its lifespan, it was a Category 3 system. But severe Tropical Cyclone Pam, as we speak, has been a Category 5 for the last 12 hours and is expected to maintain that intensity over the course of the next 12 to 24 hours.
A general reminder to the public is to stay vigilant. The heavy rain warning is expected to last through the weekend. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Keep a close watch on your children and keep them away from creeks and rivers from today through the weekend. A stern reminder from Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama as the country continues to be on a heavy rain alert. Akusita Tale reports.
The Prime Minister is calling on all Fijians to be mindful of the extreme danger that flooding poses, especially children.
Parents and guardians, make sure you know where your children are and make sure you keep them safe. Make sure you explain to them that even if a culvert or creek looks safe, that can change in an instant. Flash flooding is a terrible killer, and today is one of the most dangerous days for all Fijians, and of course tomorrow.
A report from the Water Safety Council shows 77% of drownings last year occurred during the cyclone season. Children aged between 1 and 5 years old accounted for 23% of the drowning.
The loss of these most vulnerable and innocent children among us is a particular tragedy. We need to be a lot more vigilant, a lot more alert. We can afford to let our guard down with our children for even a minute, and we need to keep an eye on them at all times to avoid the loss of these young lives and terrible suffering it causes to their families and the whole community.
Bainimarama says Pam is being called a monster storm and the amount of rainfall it could bring is immense and a cause for action. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
Due to the severe weather threat, Nandi Town has been on alert almost the entire week as businesses took measures to protect their assets against possible severe weather damage. Josephine Navula reports no one was going to take any risks knowing the history of flooding in Nandi.
Shop owners have been moving there and clearing out the ground floor. Expecting the worst, some have gone to the extent of closing up for the time being.
Being in Nandi Town, you know, it's a red zone basically, and so I mean everybody is preparing. So are we. Mostly with our stocks and vehicles. The preparation started with moving mostly all our bulk stocks away and away from the flooding zones. Rest of the stock, as you have seen in the shop, it's still in display, but the cartons and everything is ready.
We prepare because for the past few years, the past 2009 and 2011 flood, we did suffer. We lost everything in that. So it's from now, we know that we have to be prepared. That's why we're taking all these precautions.
Basically, we are trying to give whatever service we can, as we got most of the stocks up and a little bit on the floor, so we can keep giving medicine to people who are needy ones. So in order to keep going, we are well planned.
The Nandi Town Council kicked into a high gear on since Sunday when Cyclone Pam was still a disturbance.
Nandi is a very experienced town as far as experiencing the floods and cyclones. So our people are very strong.
Ali says the people of Nandi have over the years become resilient due to the increasing number of natural disasters.
We had very bad situation. Our 12 flood was the worst Nandi ever experienced. And then it was in a very short time.
The response from the business communities is something to learn from. It's better to be safer rather than sorry. Josephine Navula, FBC News.
Most shipping services remain in operation despite the strong wind and heavy rain warnings in force for the Fiji group. However, a few vessels have remained in port as they await the all clear from authorities. Savara Tamboa has more.
Gander Shipping Limited, which owns the Lomaiviti Princess, will continue with its services to Sabu-Sabu and Tabeuni, sailing from Suva this hour. Managing Director George Gander has confirmed their schedules remain normal.
There's no cancellation of our schedule. As you know, the weather is moving down south, so we've consulted our skippers of the vessel, and he's confident that to maintain the regular schedule for Lomaiviti Princess 1 and 2.
South Sea Cruises General Manager Operation Craig Mercier confirms they only made one run to the Mamanuthas instead of the usual 3. They haven't been sailing to their Sawas since last Thursday.
If the weather conditions allow, we will run a service into the Osawas on Sunday. But that's all dependent on the weather conditions. We can't say at this early stage.
Minister for Natural Disaster Management Inia Seriratu is advising ship operators to keep in touch to the weather office in Nandi.
For the big operators, it's still safe as we speak, and most of them are continuing with the normal operations today. But they will, again, everybody gets their cue from the Met Office, and of course MSF will be responsible for the movements as well.
A strong wind warning is in force for all Fiji waters, with northerly winds 20 to 30 knots, gusting to 45 knots. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
While the threat of severe weather is still in effect, the Fiji Red Cross remains ready to distribute emergency supplies should the need arise. Disaster Management Coordinator Ezroma Lendua says all the disaster preparedness containers are fully stocked with supplies and their emergency volunteers are ready. Lendua says their communication with other branches is continuing.
There will be a team on standby here at headquarters, and also our branches are also requested to do that, for volunteers to be on standby at home, and if they're needed to be called in to activate their emergency operation centers at their respective branches, then they will do come in.
Lendua is urging the public to stay safe and contact the Fiji Red Cross if they need any assistance. Still to come, drowning statistics, cause for alarm.
Wala mo siya matumay, hana gana paru taki na yan rubongi kebika na magtomay buga tali tigun na bisere waraki muni na gana paru taki ngo na yan rubongi enam pula FM nimbolo benaka oya ubika na isoro ranyo na tomani omai mai na vito na kabe kina tini karuan ng bongi lebu ena gana paru taki sekoya na yan rubongi enam pula FM enam bandua ena sere.
Great words there from Lucky Dube and Baban. I hope you enjoyed that number. Different colors just for you. On Gold FM, only the classic hits. Louise with you on the Center Show. Well, thank you so much for the sweet company. This is Alana Miles, one of my favorites, and Black Velvet for you. Hi there. Join me on the Center Show every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the best sounds on Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Vanuatu is expected to feel the brunt of tropical cyclone Pam. According to the Vanuatu Meteorological Services, the Category 5 superstorm will hit Erromango Island first, located in the southern Tafea province tonight. A red alert has been issued for the islands. Very destructive hurricane force winds of 230 kilometers an hour is reportedly affecting Malampa, Shefa, and extending to Tafea province. Tropical Cyclone Pam estimated to have 230-kilometer winds at its center and is moving at 12 kilometers per hour. A report by the Water Safety Council of Fiji reveals 77% of drownings last year occurred during the cyclone season. 47 people drowned in 2014, many of them toddlers. Akusita Tale has more.
Every week, someone drowns in Fiji. Of the 47 deaths, more than 50% were under 25 years old and 23% were toddlers. 80% of school students drowned in rivers. 66% of all drownings were victims from village and rural areas. And 1/3 of the drownings occurred during school holidays.
Out of the 47 that died last year, 8 of them had CPR administered. Of the 47 that drowned, 6 had epilepsy. You know, it's very sad that they were out there swimming at different incidents, and obviously they were alone, or they could have had someone with them but not close enough to administer help or to give them assistance.
The Water Safety Council is advising people to be more vigilant at this time of the year and avoid risks.
We want the villagers to also consider that, you know, all the rivers, all the creeks, everything's going to be, the water current will be stronger. You know, what you can normally cross in normal times, after the cyclone or around cyclone season time, it's going to be a bit more stronger to walk across. So don't just take the risk. You know, that's what we'd like to say. You know, be safe.
The Western Division recorded the highest statistics, 40% of all the drownings. The North recorded 26%, Central Division 23%, while the Eastern Division recorded 11%. Parents and guardians have also been advised to teach their children how to swim. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
The groundwork has been laid for work to begin on a new AM transmitter platform for Fiji. A memorandum of understanding was signed between the Japanese government and the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation today. Under the MOU, the Japanese government, through the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, will construct a new AM frequency transmission site at Naulu Nakasi outside Suva.
The request was put in by FBC because of the age of the current transmitting service. Although we do provide an AM service to the whole of Fiji through Radio Fiji 1 in the Itoke language, we want to enhance it because the equipment itself, which the management inherited about 7 years ago, is more than about 20 years old.
The project will finish in 2017, enabling FBC to broadcast 2 radio stations on the new bands. The 2 stations will be Radio Fiji 1 and Gold FM. And on that note, sports is up next. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Nakazaki and good evening. Coming up in sports, Telecom Fiji Warriors target bonus point victory against Junior Japan tomorrow. And we'll have the latest from the Vodafone Fiji Sevens camp. This and more after the break.
Impula pinaka naturangan na marama na turbugi ng ngone lewa. Impula pinaka ngone. Kanuita kini maratay tilon tapi tinggomian na biyo liba ni Radio Fiji 1 ang tabay viti na bunga ni Vian. Oya upio ratuang kada meni daun ni gravi. Nama kia mai daun kita tiri karua moniti kina barum buka. Ene wasi ngono baru taki kilo manikor ilutu na karom.
Vodafone Fiji Sevens coach Ben Ryan has hinted there won't be any major changes to his squad for the Hong Kong and Tokyo Sevens. After a stellar performance in Las Vegas last month, Ryan is looking to have some consistency in his lineup as the charge for top 4 finish in the World 7 Series continues. Tsalen Daudakadaka has more.
The overcast conditions across the country has not dampened the Vodafone Fiji Sevens side spirits as they continue their preparations for the Hong Kong and Tokyo tournaments. Coach Ben Ryan says the intensity in training this week has been overwhelming and the new faces have pushed his core group of players to higher levels as they hunt for a place in the final 12-member squad.
Not much change from Vegas, that's for sure, but just it's really in the forwards, where forward and half-back, the boys that played well at Marist, putting some pressure on some of those guys that are in the forwards at the moment. And I thought people like Kitione and Weiss and Emos and Emanoni are putting pressure on Emosi. And Emosi's, fighting hard in training.
A question mark still remains on the availability of captain Osea Kulinisau, who injured his hand in Las Vegas. The talisman has not been participating in contact sessions with the team, and a final X-ray examination will determine whether he will be ready in time for Hong Kong.
I'm just trying to hold him back because he just wants to get involved in everything, and I need his X-ray just to clear that the fracture's healed now, because he's about a month post fracture, so he should really have another week off before we're into full contact.
Ryan admits the high caliber of players pushing for selection is making his job increasingly difficult. Local fans can be rest assured that every team that will participate in each leg of the World Series will be the best that Fiji has to offer. Tsalen Dodakavak, FBC Sports.
The TFL Fiji Warriors side have put the loss against the Argentina Panthers behind them as they look for a good outing against Junior Japan tomorrow in the second round of the World Rugby Pacific Challenge. After a disappointing 22-20 loss to the Panthers on Tuesday, the host nation will basically need to win all its remaining matches if they are to qualify for the final. Rohit Deo has more.
Spirits are high in the Fiji camp as they await for the clash against the mighty Japanese tomorrow. The side committed a lot of mistakes against the Argentines and have had 3 days to iron this out.
We're going back to the drawing board and fixing things that went wrong against Argentina. And the boys are really fired up to give a good game on Saturday.
Discipline was a major factor in their first game as the side received 2 yellow and a red card in the first match. The coach says the players have been told to improve on this area.
Yes, we need to polish up on our discipline, because as it's shown on Tuesday, it cost us the game, and we can't afford that at this stage. I've been emphasizing the boys the important role of discipline and the way we want to play on Saturday. So the boys have been looking forward to it.
The side is not only looking at a win against the Japanese but wants to beat them with a big margin.
It's not just a win. We win with a game that we really want to play on our own style. And we going on Saturday, we need to win with a bonus point so that we can have chances to play in the final again.
The match kicks off at 3 p.m. at the NZ Stadium in Suva. With rain predicted for tomorrow and knowing the style of rugby we Fijians play, the Japanese may have to be prepared to their very best if they are to stop the Warriors. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, Junior Japan is also hoping for an improved performance when it takes on the Telecom Fiji Warriors. The side is made up of under-20 players who will be representing their country in the World Rugby Under-20 Championship in Italy this June. Officials say the players are slowly adapting to the physicality required in the competition and will put on a much better performance after their 69-17 thrashing at the hands of Canada A earlier this week.
I think physically very strong and very aggressive. But so I looking at the chance to win. I think for our endurance of rounding. So I think that it's small chance to win.
The Junior Japan-Fiji Warriors match will kick off at 3 p.m. tomorrow at the NZ Stadium in Suva. In other matches, Argentina Panthers will meet Tonga A at 11 a.m. before Canada A takes on Samoa A at 1 p.m. The upgrading of Lawanga Park in Singatoka has not seen much progress. The rugby stadium that was scheduled to commence renovation at the beginning of this year has not started any groundwork. Fiji Sports Council's Lawanga Park facility supervisor Tiko Matualu says he cannot confirm when work will begin. Matualu adds it's a matter of submitting all necessary paperwork before budgeted funds are made available for work to commence. Catch the highlights of the game currently being played between New Zealand and Bangladesh at 11 tonight right here on FBC TV. That's it from sports this evening. I'll see you again on Monday. Until then, have yourselves a safe weekend.
Digicel Fiji expects the demand for data and internet usage will drive growth in the mobile telecommunications market. Chief Executive Asia Pacific Michael Murphy, who is based in Australia, is currently in the country for a series of meetings and to assess business here.
Global trends show people relying more on smartphones and other mobile technology to access the internet and other data-based applications.
Overall, we'd expect that to keep increasing over the next couple of years, mainly due to the fact that people are no longer using SIMs just for voice and SMS use or calls. They're actually using, obviously, there's multiple SIMs being used for multiple devices, such as tablets. In a lot of developing countries, mobile penetration could be up as high as 120, 130%. I think in Australia it's over 133%. So as we see more and more devices, data-driven devices being penetrated into the market, we'd expect mobile penetration to keep increasing, and we'd expect Fiji to follow that trend.
Digicel kicked off a $70 million investment last year, primarily to have a network that can handle the demand for data. It's a decision expected to pay dividends in the years to come.
We'd expect more and more devices to be data-enabled. So as you're aware, you can purchase tablets, which will obviously allow people to get access to internet directly. But as technology expands, more and more wearable devices, for example, will have a link to a data technology. So I think Apple have just announced their recent smartphone or a wearable device. So as technology keeps evolving at a very fast pace, we'd expect to see more and more people using data-enabled technology, and that will be driven off obviously this a SIM-based technology.
Fiji is a relatively small market, but the dawn of the digital age has opened new opportunities. Digicel is taking advantage of this.
So data penetration across every market is actually increasing significantly, with less usage from a traditional voice and SMS. The Fijian market is a competitive market, but Digicel obviously help bring that competition to the marketplace. And going forward, we will look to continuously invest to drive innovation and to drive, to enhance the services to both to our consumers and to our corporates and small businesses.
Murphy adds the company expects data usage in Fiji to continue to grow because consumers have been given a platform to do with as they please. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
Overcast and cloudy conditions with occasional rain were experienced over the country today. Severe tropical Cyclone Pam was analysed about 920 kilometres west-northwest of Nadi at 3 this afternoon. It is moving south-southwest at 16 kilometres an hour and is expected to lie about 870 kilometres west of Nadi midnight tonight. The associated cloud and rain bands affect the group. Temperatures were in the low 30s in most places. Lambasa, the only centre to hit 28 degrees this afternoon. Tomorrow's forecast is for rain and thunderstorms over most places. The further outlook is for northwesterly winds 20 to 30 knots, gusting to 45 knots, rough to very rough seas, moderate westerly swells. And looking at the main points again, authorities maintain heavy rain warning as Tropical Cyclone Pam moves away from Fiji. Nadi businesses remain on alert, and Red Cross still on standby in case of any emergency. This week's poll question we're asking, should Biotawai play for Fiji in the Hong Kong Sevens? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. And that's our bulletin for today. Join the team again at the same time tomorrow. I'll be back again on Monday. Till then, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Ni Modamanda.